Good morning, everybody. Pete from Roth Sugarbush, CDL, Wisconsin. If you notice, the last week or two, we've been showing some videos of doing woods work, and that last week we showed you videos of woods we thinned at a different location, and there we mulched the tops up so we didn't have to work around them and that. Today we're at a different parcel. It's a 40-acre piece, and it's part of our old farm. So it needed to be thinned, and some of the cull trees and poor trees taking out. And what I want to talk about today is trees that you may think are nice big maple trees that really should be cut because they're defective, they're hollow. What's behind me is the cull pile. This will be made into firewood. As you can see, it's raggedy, hollow trees, so it's not a marketable tree as far as lumber and that. So 80 years ago, 100 years ago, this woods was pastured as part of a farm. And when you pasture the woods, they look nice. It looks like a park. You know, the underbrush is gone. The cattle will take care of that. But it's really hard on the trees because it damages the roots, and you know, it's how the cattle interact in the woods. So this woods was logged 50 years ago, and now I logged it again. And what you can see here is, like, these are maple trees. You know, that's a nice big maple tree. And on the outside, it looks like a big, nice maple tree, but you can see it's hollow. And we cut that because, well, it ain't gonna produce much sap. And people that tap that, like with tubing, it's a vacuum leak. It can be anything. But even these smaller maples, the center's hollow. And when you look at these, this is really punky wood. I mean, it's just the tree isn't, you got a couple inches around the outside. And that's remnants of pasturing cattle and damage that's done years ago. Probably some over tapping didn't help. Years ago, you used to see the pictures of 4, 5, 6 buckets hanging on a tree. Back then we didn't know any better. You know, with the new studies that are done, that's why we're talking, you know, one tap until you get up to 18, 20-inch tree. Then you can have 2 buckets. And really, you should never put more than 2 buckets on a tree, according to the researchers that are doing the studies. Where a tree that size probably had 3, 4, maybe 5 on some of them, and you're just stressing that tree. But there's other species in here because we took out everything, and so you can see they're punky. Even one this side is getting hollow. You know, like half of that one's bad and stuff. So we took out that kind of timber out of here. The reason we brought it out, most of the time the loggers will leave that in the woods and just lay on the ground. Well, I don't like climbing over it, for one, and that, and it's bad enough with the brush. That's why we were doing some test plots of mulching the tops and that. We took everything down to 4 inches out of the woods. So the stuff that's in the woods is 4 inches or smaller, and maybe a butt cut block or something that you cut off the end to square it up might be out there. But anything bigger we brought out. So I paid my loggers to bring this to the landing, and they don't want it, and they can't sell it. So it's going to become firewood, and it cost me 50 bucks a cord to bring it out here and set it here, full cord, to bring it here. You got to decide if that's worth it to you or not. But out here, we can cut it for firewood for our house. I can sell it as firewood. Sometimes people will come and get the logs where the outside of the maple's good and the hollow. If they got a bandsaw mill, they can use a few of these. But that's kind of a call up to what you want to do. I don't like it in the woods because it's there for a long time. You get a log that big, it's there forever. Where the tops will rot away in a few years. So it shows you why you need to manage your woods. You need to cut the cull timber, the defective timber, and you know, all that out of your woods. It gives the rest of your trees more space to grow, and the next generation will start to regenerate. Now we'll get a lot of saplings. The woods will become real thick, and brushy. But you kind of got to go through that stage because it's like your kids. You got a whole bunch of them, and then pretty soon the stronger ones will weed out the thinner ones, and that's how your next generation comes. And that, it's just part of the evolution of the woods. So it's nice to go in the woods that's real clear and easy to walk and that, but to get to that stage, you got to have the trees grow. So we'll show you a little picture of the woods here in the video later on. But this is what comes out. That's no good. This is out of 40 acres. And you can see the pile here. It goes on for a while. There's 60 full cord here that would have laid in the woods otherwise. So it gives you an idea of what the inside of a maple tree can look like. This is all just garbage, is what it is. It'll make firewood, it's all it's gonna make. And some of it ain't gonna be that good of firewood, but I want it out of the wood, because it's punky. Some of these are punky wood. The centers are rotten. There's a nice maple. It's probably 16, 18 inches of diameter, but it's only good for 2 inches in here. I don't know if you can quite see that, but so somebody would walk up to that tree and think, that's a nice tree. But when you cut it down, this is what's in it. And that, so you got to get those out of your woods at some point so the next generation of timber can come. So 40, 50 years from now, my grandkids can log this woods again. And hopefully it comes out a little better in this, but you got to clean them up once in a while to make it work for you. So we'll show you a little bit of the other parts of the wood. She'll hook the videos together here and we'll go from there. Okay, this is kind of part 2 of the woods video. First part was the log pile with the cull logs in it. This is where they came from. So as you can see, the forwarder was running here, coming in and out. Everything's packed down to the ground. And when I was talking about nothing bigger than 4 inches left out here, you can see kind of what's left. You go through a winter or two with snow, that'll push it down. We kind of make sure we drive on what we can without damaging anything and push it down, and that'll rot away pretty quick. Some of that's not very big sticks. It looks bigger now because it's got leaves and everything mixed in it, but that'll rot away fairly fast. So this is the woods we called. You can see it's fairly thin. The reason we called this woods was, 1, to get the harvestable timber out, and 2, to get the cull timber out. And that's the pile you're looking at, is the cull stuff and that. Plus the tubing in here was 15 years old, roughly 12, 15 years, somewhere in there. Actually, Glenn Goodrich put it in with Ricky, and that years ago. Glenn come out and helped us with that. But it was technology that was good at that time. That was the best practices back in the day, but they've changed considerably since then. So the tubing wasn't up to date. So what we tried to do is thin the woods, clean it up, and now we're going to put the tubing back in with what we know nowadays, which is 4 or 5 taps per lateral. Back then it was 8 to 12. So we'll clean up, we'll change that all, put it in all back, update it. Over time, we'll get more production out of this woods because the new generation will come. These will have bigger crowns and the woods will just become more healthy. The next question is going to be, who do you contact to help you with this, to pick out your trees? Call a local forester, a county forester, Department of Natural Resource forester, somebody to help you. But tell them you want to do a sugar bush, not a timber woods, because they'll manage it different. So just to give you an idea, this is what it'll look like. It's kind of a mess, but we'll keep you up to date in time. Like next summer, we'll do another video from this woods to show you how it turns out. So, get any questions, give us a call or email us, and we'll cover what we can for you.